Yo, what's up guys, you're back with your man Tech Nick, your go-to guy for videos on the latest tech. Now today, it's all about the latest tech here in China, as the Huawei P30 Pro has finally made its way to the Asian markets such as India and China yesterday and the day before respectively. And I'm really interested to see how this phone stacks up, since the Mate 20 Pro has now gone on sale, making it a really tempting buy, considering it is pretty much exactly the same as the P30 Pro, besides for one or two little tweaks, since it has the same battery, same processing chip in, same features, and it has better resolution than this as well. So if you're looking at it in that sense of quality, it's actually going a step down since it actually loses a feature. But this is all about the camera, guys, and I think that this camera has stepped it up once again. This should be camera phone of the year again over here, and if you're buying a phone for the camera indeed, this is the phone to go for. Not so much video, but camera, this is the one to beat. So guys, let's unbox this on my channel right now. Without further ado, this is Tech Nick, and let's go. And the first thing that you see here is the actual phone itself, the P30 Pro. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that to the side just for a moment. We have a included cover, thank goodness for that, so that day one I won't be scratching my phone, but this will definitely be replaced in my eyes since this is a silicone case and I'm more of a hard shell case kind of guy. Nevertheless, this seems pretty great, and I'll pop that on for you guys in a moment to see what that looks like on the phone itself. We have some earphones, that's great, and these are actually Type-C earphones, which is really cool to see. We still got these AirPod looking earphones here that iPhone have had for so many years, and Huawei have clearly gone ahead and copied. Nevertheless, they include them, so if you do want to use them, they are there. It is a nice option to have, and not many phones these days actually come with earphones bundled in the box. And of course we have the USB cable, which is indeed USB 3.1 Type-C, so you can expect some speedy transfers on your PC, and OTG adapters, which is great. They have this wonderful signature purple accent over here, which complements the supercharge. And talking about supercharge, we actually have a 40-watt fast charger here that is included in the box, which is great, 40 watt max. And this is essentially the exact same charger that you saw in the Honor Magic 2 that I did the end of last year, and the Huawei Mate 20 Pro, the previous Huawei flagship phone before the P30 was released. So that's great to see. This will get your phone juiced up in 30 minutes from 0 to 70, which is great. Under an hour, 0 to 100 on this huge 4,200 milliampere battery. Once again, the same as the Mate 20 Pro, so no drawbacks there. And since this has the same chipset as the Mate 20 Pro before it, the Kirin 980, you should see pretty similar charge times and pretty similar battery drain times. So you're looking at about 7 to 8 hours screen on time usage with heavy games, social media apps, so on and so forth. But I'll definitely give that a run for its money next week when I bring you guys a full battery drain test on this device, so please stay tuned for that. So this is the breathing crystal version. Oh, guys, it looks absolutely phenomenal. Look at those colors. It is something else, you know. One thing that Huawei always has going for it is amazing color schemes. One thing I'm noticing here, guys, is it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet. There it is, really nice and fresh, guys. This is one of the few silicone cases I don't mind. I do prefer hard cases, but this actually resembles a similar look to a hard case. Nevertheless, it's a silicone case, and I'll be upgrading that, but it's still pretty great for day one users. So there we go. Okay, so taking a look at the phone itself, at the back we have this wonderful 4-camera setup, and I always talk about the bumps here. There is a bump, but it is not half as big as the massive one seen on the Xiaomi Mi 9. So talking about cameras here, at the top, the first one that we have is a 20 megapixel ultra wide sensor over here for those crazy zoomed out shots, which is great. The same exact sensor that you saw on the Mate 20 Pro before it. Then we have a new 40 megapixel main sensor here with a better aperture than the Mate 20 Pro, a 0.1 aperture lower, so the lens is a bit bigger to capture in some more light and some greater detail, which is great. Then we have a 5 times periscope zoom here, so that's pretty great. This is a pretty deep sensor, and that is why the phone is a bit thicker than the Mate 20 Pro and even the S10 Plus. So this can get you 5 times optical zoom, and it can get you 10 times hybrid zoom, which is also really great since it takes optics and digital binds it together and gets you the best possible zoom with 10 times, and you can even take digital zoom all the way up to 50 times. I'm really excited to check that out in the full review. Over here they have neatly tucked away a TOF 3D lens over here, which is for those depth effect moments, which is really great, and we have our dual LED flash at the top here. So this should take some pretty pleasing shots, and based on what Huawei have done in the last year or two, this should definitely be camera phone of the year. We actually have a power button over here with a little bit of a red in there, just like the Mate 20 Pro had as well, with its wonderful color shifting, color schemed phone. And we have a volume bar over here for the volume rocker. At the top we have an IR blaster, which is pretty good to see, and then on the left, nice and clean. At the bottom we then indeed have the dual SIM tray, and then we actually have a single downward firing speaker. And at the top we do not have a physical earpiece here, so there is no support for stereo speakers, since the vibrations actually emit the sound when you're talking on the phone. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add a fingerprint here. Now this is the next up iteration from the previous one seen on the Mate 20 Pro, so this is one of the upgrades that you do see in the phone. They've actually used a newer and more improved lens underneath the screen for better finger recognition, so this should be faster and more accurate. Okay, all done. We'll test that out as soon as we're in the phone. Okay, let's set up face unlock as well. Setup complete. Those are not the best lighting conditions, but I guess we'll have to see how it stacks up. So we are indeed in the phone here, guys. So let's go ahead and throw that brightness all the way up to get that horrible flicking effect away from the screen. Get it nice and bright, and there it is. Extremely bright, guys. That is really nice. I'll definitely be sure to check how this stacks up against my S10 Plus, since that is the brightest screen I've ever seen in a smartphone to date. And this seems pretty great, so no complaints over here. This teardrop notch over here, this dewdrop notch, actually looks pretty discreet. I prefer the hole punch notch style with the S10 and the View 20 and so on and so forth, but this is not too bad. It's a little old school, I guess, but it shouldn't take too much away from the immersion. Now with the Mate 20 Pro we have that massive notch, so once again we do lose something here, and that is Face ID, 3D Face ID that is. This still has facial recognition, so let's go ahead and test out facial recognition. 3, 2, 1, and we're in. 3, 2, 1, and we're in. Guys, this is ridiculously fast. Now let's go ahead and test out this fingerprint sensor. Okay, and 3, 2, oh, where did you go? There we go. Oh, that's super fast, guys. Okay, so this is an optical one. This is not an ultra sonic one that you see in the S10 Plus, unfortunately, so the security isn't as good, but it is a bit snappier, so that's really great. The S10 Plus does take a bit of a while. Now the one thing I'm noticing here is that they've actually pushed the fingerprint sensor a little bit lower down. I actually prefer it higher up. It's more comfortable in the hand when you pop your finger over here. Nevertheless, it's down here. It works really smooth and really great, and this phone really seems stellar and top notch, guys. So there you guys have it, the Huawei P30 Pro in this wonderful breathing crystal color. I'm really digging the color. I'm digging what Huawei have been doing with their phones in the past year or so, and this under fingerprint sensor is doing great work here. It is nice and snappy, as well as the facial recognition, which is nice and quick, but it is a step down in security from the Mate 20 Pro, since there is now no 3D face unlock. Nevertheless, it has the same great Kirin 980 processing chip in it, has the same great waterproofing, the same great ability to throw in a nano SD card over here. It has the same great RAM and storage. It ups in the camera department, but otherwise everything else is the same as the Mate 20 Pro. So is it worth spending $1,000 on a phone that pretty much does the exact same thing as a phone that only released just 4 months ago, that is now dropped by $200, $300, $400 in some places? I'm not sure, guys, that's up to you. But if you do want the latest and greatest tech out there, this is it, especially when it comes to the camera department. These cameras are gonna blow me away. I can already see it, and I'm really amped for it. I've been using the S10 Plus as my daily driver. I'm gonna shift over to this, and I'm really excited to see how this stacks up. I have a speed test coming up for it. I have a battery drain test, battery charge test, wireless charge speed test. So for more on the P30 Pro, please stick around with me. Make sure you smash that subscribe button down below, give me a like for the video, and pop me a comment on your thoughts. Until next time, guys, this is Technic.